Hey there, today I'm in the studio again with Tracy, and we're talking about 4 types of relational connections in your home. Now, this comes from Henry Cloud's book, The Power of the Other. We've got that linked below. So, Tracy, this will be a good one to unpack with you, with my wife, because I think we have this, certainly some of this in our own home, and some of you out there, maybe if you're going to watch this with your spouse, this is a great one to identify where are you in these 4 types of connections. Okay, so here they are. First, do you want to list them out? You remember what they are? You want to list them out for me? The loner.
Okay.
Is number 1.
Okay.
Right. Second one is the
toxic person.
Yeah, the toxic person.
And then the third one is the
fake
fake
person. Yeah. And then the fourth one is what we would call just the true person, the authentic person. The whole idea in the book, again, you can check out the link below and get the book. It's great. It's a great read. The whole idea is all 4 of these people have power over you. The first 3 have power for the negative, but that last one is power for the positive. So let's apply this to the home.
Okay.
Right? So moms and dads trying to create, we're big into creating an environment in your home where you can, transfer your values to your kids. What does a disconnected person look like in the home? What does a loner look like in a home, whether it's the parent or the kid?
Okay, well, so a loner kid is going to be the kid that comes home from school, goes right to their room, they're playing video games or just listening to music, and they're just not connected. They're slow to come to dinner.
Yeah.
They're not hanging around in the family areas where other people are.
Right. And some kids are wired like this or whatever. Maybe you get in phases like this. I know we have that sometimes with our kids. What's your advice to a parent who says, "Oh my goodness, that is my kid," right? What would you say?
Well, I think like you said, be sensitive. For some kids, if they're more introverted, being at school all day is probably exhausting for them. So it's okay for them to go to their room for 30 minutes and decompress. But if that's all that they ever do and they're never engaged with the family, then that's not healthy. So I would just say, you know what, there's a time to go to your room, time for your own space, to decompress, do what you want. But around dinner time, maybe after dinner, certain times on the weekend, like we will have family time where we're engaging together.
Right. And parents, maybe for you, you might have, if you have one of these kinds of kids, you might have to just work a little bit harder to get your kids engaged. Think outside the box, try some other activities, game nights, whatever.
Yeah, do things that are interesting to them.
Right.
Right.
Yeah. Okay, second type of person, a toxic.
Oh wait, I wanted to tell the parent though.
Okay.
The loner parent.
Yeah, okay.
Right? Because the loner parent then is maybe, let's say it's the dad that has a home office that comes home from work and then goes right to his office, and that's where he spends a lot of his time. Again, not really engaged with the family. Or a mom that's like, listen, I'm working all day, or I'm at home dealing with the kids, so then at night I want to go retreat to my room. And again, it's just you're not connected, you're not making time to be as a family.
Yeah, that's good. All right, second type of person, a toxic person. What does that look like in the home?
Okay, so the toxic person is the person that's critical, negative, brings a bad energy into the home that makes people want to flee. It might make people in the house want to go be loners. It's not uplifting, it's not encouraging, and brings people down. So that can be a kid, and that can be a parent. I mean, that could be any of them.
Yeah, and I'll say, first of all, if it's a parent, if you're listening to this and you say, oh man, that's me, I recognize that that's me. First of all, good on you for recognizing that if you recognize that's you. But I think having self-awareness about it is important for you as a parent, so that you can, maybe invite your spouse to call that out in you if you fall into those toxic behaviors, because toxic parents breed toxic kids.
Yeah, as a parent, you just have to be careful. Check in with your spouse.
Yeah.
If I'm always just coming down on the kids, I would hope you would say, whether it's you didn't make your bed, or did you, what is that handwriting on your homework? That's terrible. If that's all I'm doing, that's toxic. That's not uplifting to our kids.
Yeah. So again, we're not saying you shouldn't discipline or you shouldn't call kids out, but you need to praise your kids also.
Right, you got to balance it.
Yeah, be aware of that. What about if the kid is toxic and the parent says, oh man, you're describing my junior higher right now? What would you say to that?
Well, yeah, again, I think you've got to work with them on that and encourage them that being negative or critical or picking on a younger sibling or an older sibling, whatever those dynamics are, being disrespectful to parents, like you need to train them that that's not the appropriate way to behave. That's not
Right.
going to serve them well.
Self-awareness again.
Yeah.
Make your kids aware. If you see that your kids have toxic tendencies, just let them know. I mean, do it in love, but let them know that, hey, that's toxic. Don't be bitter. Like, if you're bitter now at 16, you're going to be a bitter person at 25, right?
Yeah, I mean,
So,
we've had that conversation
right.
with our kids when their friends are making silly choices, and
Yep.
sometimes the things that come out of their mouth, it's like, well, slow down a second here.
Yeah.
Like, don't just breed in criticism of them. Let's be gracious and loving, and how can we help them?
Right. That's
Yes.
good. Yeah, because sometimes your kids might even be toxic toward some other kid at school, just the way they're talking to you about it. Great teaching opportunity to say, well, hold on, let's don't say that they're terrible. They just, maybe
Right.
they don't know that skill yet or whatever.
Right.
Okay. Third type of person, the fake person. What does that look like in the home?
Well, I would say probably predominantly in the home, it's going to be a family that's just might pretend that they're connected, but they're not really. They might act like everything's great, but no one really talks about anything real. Everyone's just kind of at the surface.
Yeah.
You know, maybe if in our marriage, let's say, we never really deal with issues, we just kind of sweep things under the rug, or with our kids, we just praise them all the time, and when they mess up, we don't want to crush their spirits, but we're not truthful in our assessment of a situation.
Here's a great example
Okay.
of that. I think if your parents, if you are fake to your kid saying, you have a wonderful voice, and they don't, these are the kids that are going to end up on those,
American Idol
American
show or
Idol,
something.
and the whole country's going to laugh at them.
Right.
So maybe that's a funny example of being fake, and how being fake isn't helpful, right?
It's not.
So certainly you don't want to just crush someone's spirit, but learn to speak truth and love, and that really leads to the last type of person, the authentic person, or as Henry Cloud, the author, says, he calls this the corner 4 relationship. So what does that person look like? What does that parent look like?
Well, so you would have the ability to love and encourage, and when you need to teach or rebuke or, gently bring along, that you can do that in an honest, loving, speak the truth in love kind of way, that you're not fake or you're not avoiding things, but you are authentic, you're real, and you're training and modeling that for your kids. And so everybody can feel safe in the home and feel like, mom and dad have our best interest in mind, and they're not lying to me or telling me things that really aren't true. They're not just tearing me down all the time. They love me and they encourage me, but when I need to be, corrected on something, we can do that in a loving way.
Yeah. And I can just say from personal experience, being married to an authentic person, you gave me this gift of being truthful with me, not fake with me, even in our dating years. And that really rubbed off on me, and I learned how to engage and how to connect on a real level. And then watching you, and I'm trying to borrow this from you as well, watching you do this with our kids has been great. I think our kids, as teenagers now, are much more authentic. They're authentic with their friends because we've been authentic. We've raised them in a home where we're authentic with them. So here's my challenge to you parents. Any parents watching this, maybe even get the book, but try to become this kind of a person, a corner 4 person, an authentic person, not one of those others, not a loner, not a fake person, not a toxic person, but someone who can look at your kids, speak truth to your kids, but do it with love, and it's going to make for authentic kids also. Don't forget, use the questions below to talk about this with your spouse, maybe with a small group, and we'll see you in the next video.